Hi, my name is Jessica Beacon, and I am interviewing for the third grade math and science position at Peterson Elementary School. So, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am an animal lover, I'm an adventurer, I'm a family lover, and I am definitely a churchgoer. I have two dogs, Baby and Ranger. They are rescues, and I also have a chinchilla, Herbie. I love animals, they're a great stress reliever. I also love to travel. I love to explore the world. I've been to Turkey, I've been to Costa Rica, I've been to Canada. I just love to explore how other people live, how other people eat, and just see the beautiful world that God created. And I just love to try new things. Um, my family is my rock. Without them, I could do nothing. I rely on them for strength, for encouragement, and also I'm very involved at my church. Currently, I'm on the worship team. Faith is incredibly important. I love serving with women's ministry. I just love getting to be able to encourage others and serve others. It is definitely a passion of mine. Now, to describe my philosophy of teaching, I first and foremost want to say that I believe that every student is capable of learning and growing, and it is my biggest concern that they do so in an environment that is safe and where they are valued. I believe that every student can make a difference in this world, and my philosophy closely aligns with that of social reconstructionism, which pretty much supports the idea that learning should be centered around social justice and teaching students to learn to advocate for themselves. And I know that every student has a different plan and a different goal for their life, so whether that includes college, whether that doesn't include college, whether it includes going straight into the workforce, or supporting their family, I want them to be equipped with skills and know how to make the world a better place and just advocate for those around them and themselves. Looking at this philosophy, I would say this philosophy is incorporated into my instruction in many ways, and to be specific, it definitely encourages me to use hands-on, explorative, discussion-based lessons. Because my classroom, I consider it a collaborative, community-centered learning environment, and I want students to learn how to respectfully disagree and agree with each other. So one of the things I've done in the past is this means agree, this means disagree, and you have to teach them young that it's okay to disagree. It's okay to not agree with everything your peers are saying, but how can we do so respectfully? So I think that's an important skill to teach in the classroom, and I'm a big believer in problem solving, questioning the status quo, planning for change, advocating for change, and just bringing light to what others think and believe. Because it's important to recognize that a lot of people are different than we are, and that's okay. And how can we stand up for them? How can we advocate for them? How can we advocate for a change? In one of the third grade math lesson plans, I actually had students create a flip grid, and they were explaining their thinking to a multiplication problem. And I think that this applies to my philosophy because I don't believe that just pen and paper is how students learn. I believe that students learn through all four domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And in this certain case, a lot of students benefited because they got to verbally express their learning, and it wasn't just through paper and a pencil. I also love to incorporate turn-in talks. I love the idea of students learning from other students and their peers. We can learn so much from one another, and I just believe that differences make us stronger and differences make us unique in who we are, and when we use those differences to advocate for others, this world will become a better place. So that's kind of the goal of my classroom. As far as how I differentiate instruction, there are so many ways I differentiate instruction. I believe it can be done in small ways as well as large-scale ways, but some of the ways I've done it, specifically in a third grade math and science classroom, would be through the use of manipulatives, oral administration, scaffolded instruction, and guided math groups. So during guided math groups, which this classroom was set up where they did math rotations every day, so it would be 10 minutes of an introduction and then 8-minute guided math groups, then you would close the lesson. So during guided math groups, students are grouped by like abilities, and at teacher time, which is when I had a group of students, I would scaffold instruction through using manipulatives. So if we were learning about multiplication, I would have, base 10 blocks, or place value, I'd have base 10 blocks. If we're learning about fractions, I'll have fraction strips. So especially this is a lot of the tier 3 students, and for students who are above typical or might already have mastered the given instruction, I would push them by allowing them to create word problems, make real-world connections, and also sometimes I let them be student teachers and help those who are struggling. I don't want to give every student the same instruction because that's not fair to them. It's not fair to any student. We all learn and grow in different ways, and it's my job as a teacher to push and scaffold and make sure students are learning on their level, but also within that zone of proximal development. There's another tool that I use called Screencastify, and this is a tool where I get to give oral administration, but not face-to-face. It's through an app, and I upload these Screencastifies to Google Classroom, and for students maybe on a 504 plan, students with dyslexia, ESL students, or students in special education, they can go in and they can watch the Screencastify video, which has me just simply going over the instructions and reading either assessments or assignments. And students love this because they get to focus on what the assignment is about, which in this case would be a math or science assignment. In this case, I don't want students, the struggle here should not be to read the assignment. It should be to master mathematical content. So that's one of the other ways I like to differentiate instruction. And so overall with differentiation, I believe there are so many different ways it can occur, whether big or small, and it should be, it really just comes natural sometimes, and I think it should be done all the time in the classroom. As far as integrating technology into my lessons, oh my goodness, I love technology. So it's definitely a strong suit of mine, and I'm always on the hunt for what's considered the latest and greatest in the classroom. Some specific programs I've used include Google Classroom, Screencastify, as I talked about before, Kahoot, Flipgrid, which I did mention before, Pear Deck, Seesaw, and QR codes. One of the programs I've used the most is Google Classroom. I used it in my third grade math and science class, and every student in the classroom had a Chromebook. And Google Classroom, through Google Classroom, I was able to post assignment updates, rubrics, editable templates for assignments, helpful resources, whether that be videos or links to important websites or links to websites I believe were the only appropriate resources for third graders. When we were researching planets, I put websites that were great to use as search engines for third graders. And through Google Classroom, I can also have a parent Google Classroom, which updates parents as to what their students are learning about. They get to see what is in Google Classroom for their students, so they're updated with the most recent instruction and assignments, and they can just simply keep up. And another piece of technology that I'm very familiar with that just launched is Pear Deck, and Pear Deck is a really cool add-on tool for Google Slides. And now what Pear Deck is, it's an interactive slideshow that it allows student responses, it allows immediate feedback, it allows the teacher to assess students immediately and give feedback immediately. So it's an interactive slideshow, and using Pear Deck has actually allowed me to easily assess student understanding regardless of what it was covering, engage with students, really reinforce instruction when it's needed, scaffold when it's needed. And then overall, I'm just a technology lover, and I love that the field of technology, it's ever-changing and it's always improving in the classroom. So I know I'm not done learning about technology in the classroom. I actually am I listen to a Google podcast that is always telling me how to improve instruction in the classroom using Google. And so I'm an ongoing learner just like my students are, and I think that is definitely a strong suit of mine. So anyways, thank you for considering me for this position, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.